Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons. Sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Kenworth Trucks Australia. Dasmac, shipping your classic car from the world to your doorstep. And the Intershed.
G'day, I'm Fletch and welcome as I continue to cross parts of the United States of America for 2025 with a big thanks to Shannons. Today we're going to spend some time with Dennis Gage from My Classic Car TV show. Then it's up to Ohio for a Mopar barn walk around. I've waited years to catch up with this guy. It's time to meet the host of My Classic Car TV show here in the United States, Dennis Gage. But here is a little bit of dirt on the great man first. Dennis grew up on a small family farm in northwestern Illinois. He started his interest with cars young and purchased his first motorcycle at age 12 and his first car at age 15. And his first special car was a 1969 E-Type Jaguar. Would he want that car back today? No way, because that car had some issues. Of course, we should never underestimate a science nerd. Dennis learned how to learn, reminding me of Rodney Dangerfield's movie Back to School. That's exactly what Dennis did, and achieved his PhD in chemistry. But as Dennis will tell you, all of the education in the world isn't worth a hubcap full of different lug nuts without imagination. And I too agree. It's the creative streak that gets you there. Diverse in talent, Dennis also played the guitar and trumpet in a variety of rock, folk and school bands quite a while ago. He continued his automotive interest over the years and through his college years owned a number of muscle and sports cars. Dennis, when I look around, I could have filmed in a rougher location.
It's not bad. It's not much, but
Yeah.
I call it home.
I know, right? Had I known it was going to be this good, I would have got here an hour earlier. After all these years, Dennis, and watching you with My Classic Car TV, might I say you do a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you.
And I guess it's, well, we're both in the same game in terms of, featuring these vehicles, preservation, letting the people talk about their cars, let them tell the story. And yeah, you've certainly had an abundance here in the United States over the years.
Well, there's a lot of cars here. And I've always had a fascination, cars, motorcycles. I mean, I grew up in that era, back in the 60s. In fact, all of my contemporaries are into cars really because of Madison Avenue, which is how we refer to, the great marketing machine in New York.
Yeah.
But it really is, we're a product of advertising, because it was in the 60s that the big three were looking for an untapped market. They need to sell more cars.
Yeah.
And the untapped market was the youth market. They never marketed to youth. It was always really marketed to the man of the family, and the family sedans and all that. And there was all these kids, and so they took basically a big engine and slapped it in a grocery getter sedan, and poof, you had a muscle car.
Well, that's the thing, and it wasn't until really the late 60s until the Americans started realizing, hey, let's get away from these larger bodied cars. Let's go put a 426 Hemi in an A-body. And wow, they were the bullets.
And it's all to sell to kids. And suddenly, you had a whole market that you didn't have before. Their sales skyrocketed. Yeah. And my whole generation got hooked. Yeah. And we were hooked on cars.
Now, I've just brought a few notes because you know what? We might be good, but trying to remember everything, hey. Now, there's some things people might not realize about you.
Oh, there's plenty.
Now, you're also...
I'll have to keep it that way, frankly. No.
You've been an avid climber and a mountaineer.
Yes. In fact, I'm leaving Well, this is what is this? I don't even know what day it is. But in about 3 days, I'm heading out to do another mountaineering trip, probably about 50 miles and a couple peaks. And I'm still doing it. I never grew up.
When did you accept your position as a product development scientist at Procter & Gamble?
I left graduate school in late '81. Started with Procter & Gamble as a analytical research scientist.
Yeah.
I was at P&G for 10 years, and then in Cincinnati, and then I was made an offer I simply couldn't refuse to come to where you are right now, Evansville, Indiana. And I was the director of global product development for Bristol-Myers Squibb.
Wow.
And here in Evansville, and that's where I bumped into Brad Kimmel after I'd been here a couple years, and I had a very good day job.
Yeah.
But he needed somebody for a commercial, and he stumbled upon my picture, and he needed somebody that looked like a turn-of-the-century scholar.
There you go.
Well,
This is an old story as well. Ending my notes here about, having to mortgage your home for your first series of My Classic Car. And I can totally relate to expenses such as that.
I was still with P&G, with Bristol-Myers Squibb, and I was actually in Bangkok, Thailand. I was just fed up. I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. And I quit. And I called home to Ellen and I said, I resigned today. She goes, oh, well. I wasn't even sure how I was getting back to the U.S.
Yeah.
But I did make it back. And I'd been dabbling with this little show on the side. Yeah. And that year of 1996, I was flying all over the world for Bristol-Myers Squibb, and I would come back and change, wardrobes and suitcases and go shoot television. Yeah. And I figured that, I'm sick of this. I've done corporate R&D for 15 years, and if this TV thing doesn't work out, I can always go back to R&D. Yeah. But that was 30 years ago.
Have you enjoyed My Classic Car?
I really have. And the interesting thing, Fletch, is that I got a weird background. I was a musician. I was a scientist, a corporate R&D guy, an executroid, all that stuff. Yeah. But about every 5 years or so, it would be, I kind of got it all figured out. Yeah. I'm not learning anything anymore. I think I'm going to do something else. Yeah. And it would be typically something really weird.
And I think the case of when you're self-employed as well, it's a case of the survival thing too, which keeps you going, obviously, because you have to do exactly that. You have to survive, don't you?
Survive. Yeah. And I think the reason I'm still doing this after 30 years is that I'm still learning. I learn from everybody I talk to. Yeah. And I grew up on a farm in the 60s, small family farm. Life's hard. Life's a lot of work. But that was the baseline. So okay. Yeah. I'm not going to complain about that. That's just the baseline.
That's it.
And I think that's a lot of what guides me too. It's just that life's hard. Okay, I get that. Now how do I make it less hard?
Yeah.
Years ago, BSA built more bikes than anyone in the world. Beautiful, handcrafted, proper works of art. Real enthusiasts understand. And Shannons, of course. Young mixed passion's a bit high-tech for me, but deep down, it's the same. And Shannons understand that as well. Which is why Shannons insure our bikes, cars, and now, even our home.
Call 13 46 46 for a quote. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Perhaps if you're after some insurance cover for tools or memorabilia, why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646, and the Shannons Club awaits you. For more information, visit shannons.com.au. You've been good enough to let us inside your private shed here at home. And as you alluded to as we were leading up to this trip across the United States many weeks ago, that you don't have any classic vehicles anymore, but you do have some, and we'll talk about those later. In terms of late model classics, they are. But you've also got a passion for bikes, which is obviously what we stand for as well. So you've got two BMWs here. Give us a rundown on this one here, Dennis.
This is it looks older. Actually, it looks like an older bike, but it's actually 1969. They didn't come. Well, you could get them with a solo seat, but they came with a typical, more of a conventional seat, and then it doesn't look quite so old. That's actually a vintage Bates seat, which is just about as cool as the whole bike. Yeah. But this is a really neat bike, R60/2, 600cc.
Yeah.
I did a couple different motorcycle series also. One was kind of patterned after my classic car. It was Corbin's Ride On. But then we did this other series, which was Tripping on Two Wheels, where I rode with this Brit friend of mine and my son through most of Europe and some of Canada and all. Then we did one episode in the U.S. where we rode vintage bikes, and I rode this one, and my son rode the one behind us. We'll talk about, and then Neil rode a Moto Guzzi. I had a '67 Guzzi, and 1,000 miles in 4 days on these bikes, and the bikes performed way better than we did, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
This is really a gentleman's cruiser. It's not a fast bike.
Sure. Moving on now, Dennis, to your 72 bike.
Moving up in time, 72. This is a R75. That was a R60, a 600 cc, a /2 model is engine designation. Yep. This is an R75/5, a 750, and this was what they called the toaster tank.
Okay.
It's chrome, and it looks like a toaster.
Yep.
You know, I absolutely love them. When they came out, people hated them,
right?
Because it's not a huge tank, and they do make this big road tank for it. Yep. But now this is one of the most desirable Beamers you can have, and it really, if I almost had to go down to one bike, it might really be this, because this will just do everything well.
Now here we have a 2002 convertible Thunderbird. Now, a late model classic. There's some potential here, Dennis, right?
There is indeed. Well, this is the first year of the small birds. They ran for 5 years. This car I got in '02. I'm also a sucker for turquoise. And it came with the optional. This is the only year they did this. It was the optional two-toned interior. And if you don't have enough turquoise out here, there's even more turquoise in there. I like this car. It's a fun car to drive. I don't use it much. I think it's got like 20,000 miles, and it's a 23 or 4-year-old car.
Yeah, I like the car.
T-Birds were always so over-engineered and over-designed. I just loved them. They were they were always like futuristic, and the interiors were unbelievable. And just, well, my first car was a '59 Thunderbird. Right. It only goes out a couple times a year, but we'll go for a drive up to central Indiana and Brown County State Park, which is a stunningly beautiful place.
Beautiful.
In the fall, leaves are changing, and
that's the other thing too. With the United States here, it lends itself to classic cars and country drives. You know, your roads are typically smoother than what we have in Australia, and you've got some beautiful landscapes here as well.
Really do, all through the country, and it's like people come to the U.S. and say, well, you know, I came to this place, now I've been to the U.S. Well, it's so diverse, the Northeast, the Southeast, the Northwest, Southwest, Central, and I have appreciation for really all of them. I'm a Midwestern guy, and I still feel, that's why I still live here and feel most comfortable there, but I have appreciation for all parts.
Yeah, you can take the boy off the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the boy.
Can't do it.
There you go, there you go. How cool is this 1999 Jag? And the front, Dennis, wow, that's just the modern day version of the E-Type all day long.
It really is, and Fletch, I had an E-Type coupe, 69 coupe, which I just still think is one of the most beautiful cars ever built. And when Jag came back out with this car, with the XK8, it's just got so much E-Type DNA. I had to have one, and I found this one, and it's funny because I was talking to Ellen, my wife, and I said, I'm trying to get better, you know. And I said, look, I've...
What do you mean, in terms of less cars?
Well, in terms of how I do it. Let's not get carried away on the less cars thing, but how I do it. So I said, you know, I really like these cars. I've stumbled onto this one. It's really, and I'm thinking about buying it. And her response was, oh, instead of having it just show up like all the other ones did? That's kind of what happened. They would just show up.
Just imagine you waking up in the morning, pulling the blinds back. Oh, there's another one in the drive.
Yes, and that happened frequently.
Absolutely.
I was proud of myself.
Yeah, for sure. But this is a beautiful car. I love just and the British, like, okay, the Americans have always had a little bit of wood grain here and there, a bit of fake wood grain, but that there, what's that? Like it's a what do they call that? It's
I believe it's a burl
veneer.
Walnut. Yeah, it is, but it's genuine veneer wood.
Genuine imitation plastic.
Yeah, that's what I've got in most of the
there
American
you go.
cars. But yeah, this is everything about this car. Jags always knew how to do an interior. That's one thing. The Brits do a mean interior.
Dennis, we're just about out of time. I know you've got to get going, you've got a busy schedule, and you've just come back from a trip, you're about to go away on another one, and to know that or coming from Australia, which is not just kind of down the road.
No, it's not really.
And
on the other side of the planet, right?
and to fit this opportunity in. So professionally and personally, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Fletch, it's been my honor. My pleasure too.
Good on you, Dennis. Keep up your fantastic work.
And you.
Thank you. Stay right where you are, because after the break we'll be back in Ohio to visit Murray Park for a Mopar barn walk around. How's that sound, Dennis?
Sounds great.
Sound
Love
good?
it. Love it. You don't want to miss this.
There you
Classic
go.
Restos. Check it out.
When I was a kid, I loved cars, still do. The 57 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham was the most advanced car in the world. Cost more than a Rolls. Hand-built with a stainless steel roof, cruise control, electric seats, and would you believe, air suspension. American iron. It's a passion Shannons understand. That's why they insure my daily drive, the caddy, my bike, even the house.
Get a quote online or call 134646. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Your story began in 1971. It's part of an endless tapestry that tells the story of our nation. It connects innovators to artisans, forests to houses, from the largest of operations to the smallest of outcomes. It's heritage. It's a legacy.
G'day, Fletch here. Bit of downtime in Ohio. During downtime, I bring you a barn. Look at this barn. Creepy style barn, mysterious barn. Could almost resemble a movie set in regional America, set amongst the cornfields. But this is where it's interesting, because it never ends. The mystique and wondering what is inside a barn like this. Ah!
Hey Fletch, fancy seeing you here.
Come on in. I can show you some more stuff.
Murray, it's great to see you. Hey, let me help you push that door back.
All righty.
Wow. Well, how many times do you push these doors?
Oh, all the time. Usually carrying stuff.
Okay, well, look, before you show us inside here, I've noticed these 413s here. Give us a walk through here, Murray. Tell us what's going on with these engines on the floor.
Most of them 413s. There's a 400 and a few others. There's some 383s and 440s over there also. Just waiting for somebody to need them.
Now, the 413, it's a good engine, right?
It's one of the best Chrysler made. They were really good engines. 440s are more plentiful and easier. Parts are easier. 413s, you can't really get over-the-counter pistons. You got to have them special made, and that costs a bunch of money to do.
Murray is such a great guy in business too. One of his biggest attributes is his honesty, and that plays a major role when you're sending parts all around the United States, and in fact, sending parts all over the world.
Well, even though I'm die-hard C-body Mopar guy, I got a soft spot for Finn Cadillacs. The styling and just the cool factor of them, they're pretty neat cars. And this car was actually a local car, sold new here in town. I'm the third owner of it. I've got all the records back to day one. And here is a 63 Imperial. This is actually a beautiful original car. I never call anything perfect because nothing's perfect, but I think this car, for an original car, has as close to a perfect interior as one would ever see. In here, it's been about the same as a Cadillac, about 4 years.
How Murray can identify a Chrysler part is nothing short of amazing. I'm sure there's many others that can as well, but I don't believe that there'd be anybody around that could do it better than he can.
There we have a 66 Plymouth Fury 3 convertible that is in the midst of restoration. I had it at a shop working on it, and they gave up, and quit, and closed their shop, and I got it back, and I still need to get it finished. Yeah, Fletch, this is a 57 Dodge Custom Royal 4-door hardtop. Pretty nice car. Once again, been off the road for 35 years, 40 years, something like that. For a project car, I mean, I've always planned on a lot of projects, but car projects are more work than we think they are when we look at them. So it's hard to get them all done. But it's pretty interesting. It's got the factory dual antennas. It's got factory dual exhaust with original tips on it.
When it comes to parts for sea bodies, the guy's incredible, and that's all there is to it. If you saw what he had in his inventory, you'd take days to get around everything and you still wouldn't see it. It is mind-blowing.
Well, Fletch, this actually is a really nice car. It's 51,000 original miles. Very odd color combination. It's black, you know, it's so dirty you can't tell, with a burgundy top and burgundy interior, which is a very odd combination. Actually, the only one I've ever seen that color. The gentleman who I got it from had actually rented it out to a film company. When they were done with it, bringing the car back to the gentleman, they rear-ended a semi-truck with it. The only fortunate thing is it went over the bumper, so it didn't do any frame or bumper damage. Everything's above that, all bolt-on parts, but still didn't do it any good. You know, it would be actually a pretty easy repair. It didn't damage the windshield, anything like that.
In the parts game, he's another one-man band. It's basically himself, his wife. It's a family business, and that's about it.
Well, there's a 52 Plymouth, there's a couple 56 Imperials there.
And here, Murray, we've got a two-door Imperial, correct?
Yeah, this is a 75 Imperial, the last year before they brought them back in 81, so this would have been the last year of the Imperials. It's just for parts, it's a pretty rough old car, but this isn't a highly common car. They didn't build a lot of them, but they're out there, and fortunately there's people that love them and want to save them. Here's a pair of seats. I've actually got the rears also, from a 74 New Yorker four-door that had 10,000 actual miles on it. And up there, that's a one with the chrome valve covers. If you can see up that way, that's a 241 Dodge Hemi. That is a 1958 only Imperial 392 Hemi valve cover. One of the coolest looking valve covers anybody ever came up with.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, Murray and his family, they've turned into personal friends, and I like to catch up with them every year I pass by through here. It's always something good to look forward to. Okay, Murray, thank you very much for the opportunity in here. I sure did get a surprise when I looked through the door and saw you there this morning.
Well, likewise, Fletch. I'm happy you showed up, and you're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much for showing us around this part of the shed that has never been filmed before on Classic Restos. Thank you, Murray.
Thank you, Fletch.
Now, this you may find interesting. I am standing outside of a typical suburban home in regional Tiffin, Ohio. I love these traditional homes. They're laced everywhere throughout regional United States. Now, this place behind me was built around 1900. They were brick and they were two-story. Three-story if you included the basement, and 4 levels if you were lucky enough to have an attic. And as a matter of interest, these places worth around about $200,000 US at this time of filming. Now, over many decades, a lot of these places have received cladded siding over their brickwork, along with room additions as well. So, this takes us now to the garage. So just imagine, the time is around 1900, and better than average Americans could only afford a house and properties like this back then. The garage. Now, this one was more than likely for a horse and a buggy. Now, inside here, I believe, is very interesting. Now, what you're seeing behind us is original timber from around the time. That's pretty surreal just in itself. So we're looking at timber here, approximately 120 years old. Now, when you look at the framework, you'll notice these little window entries here in the timber. Now, that was where the horse would have put his head outside. And there's another one behind here. And there was also a door in here as well to the outside. Now, this is where it gets a little bit better. Now, keep in mind, the original garage might have been for a horse and a buggy, and then the motor car came along. And in the 20s and the 30s, the cars were quite small. Then 40s, 50s, well, obviously the vehicles got bigger. And a lot of these garages around these regional areas have got this addition on the back here. So we've got our original timber structure, but then we've got brickwork. In this case, we've got some Besser blocks that have been added on. Now this is obviously for the time when the American cars started getting a lot longer, and the additions had to be made to the garages so that they could be housed inside. You know, I just think that's some pretty cool history, where the house had to be involved with the evolvement of the motor car as well.
How good was it having a day with Dennis Gage? What a clever guy. And of course, rounding off today's episode here in country Ohio, catching up again with Murray Park and a tour around one of his barns full of Mopars. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be more content coming your way on next week's show from the United States, with a big thanks to Shannons. Until then, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch. Thanks for watching. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons. Sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Kenworth Trucks Australia. Dasmac, shipping your classic car from the world to your doorstep. And the Intershed.